Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Sarah Uncut. If you are feeling stuck financially in your business. Oh, did you just go, how did she know that? Yeah, it's a common thing. It's okay. I'm not actually stalking you. All right, guys, so you know I'm a cleaner outer, right? Like I will Marie Kondo the crap out of like everything. Kitchen drawers, that fireplace in my bedroom over there. Well, I don't care. I will Marie Kondo everything, right? I love me some Marie Kondo. So I was cleaning out my stuff like I do. And I found this, I'm so excited. So first of all, just this is a side note. This is not the whole video, but it's my very first money mindset workbook. Like the money mindset course, like the very first one I ever put out into the world. This is the original workbook. Anyway, that's not the point. So the point is, I'm cleaning stuff out. I found this, I was like, oh, and then I was like, ooh, it's really thick on this side. What could it be, you guys? These are checks. These are checks that human beings paid my business in my first and second year of business when I was freaking the F out. Maybe you know what that feels like. Yeah, I was like, oh my God. So if you've ever felt like, oh my God, no one's ever going to pay me for my business. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Keep payments. Now, you must be thinking I'm 432 years old. I'm not. Some people just like to pay by check, okay? But yeah, I kept every single one of these and I was stunned. I was like, oh my God. People pay me for my expertise. Does that sound so funny? I teach that all the time, but I'm human too, and we need to hear these things, right? Or see them. So this reminds me of an exercise that I have my clients do when they're feeling financially stuck or like their business isn't progressing or no one's ever going to pay me for my expertise. Is I'll say, go back to the very beginning of your business and look at how much you've made overall since you started working. And every time I do this, people are like, oh my God, people pay me a lot of money for my expertise. It's like, yeah, they have. Get it together, man. Your expertise, your service, your product has value out there in the world, and you know it because people pay you for it. Now, I'm not saying this to say, look how much money I made. That's not the issue. You guys, the issue is, do you value what you do and what it does out there in the world? I've said this before in Sarah Uncut. I've also said this in Coffees with Coaches, where I will talk about the idea that money will go where the perceived value is highest. Case in point, I talk about Starbucks all the time because I'm a weirdo and I know some of you hate Starbucks and that's okay. You're allowed. We all get to drink what we want to drink. But I love me a Starbucks coffee. I do. I don't do it often. But boy, I love it. Like the smell of those joints, man. You walk in there and it's like, oh my gosh, the coffee. It's the whole experience. And yes, I recognize I'm paying $7 for about 20 cents of coffee. Not the point. The point is the perceived value is high enough for me to spend that money. Because it's not just the coffee, it's the whole experience. It's the smell, it's the green, it's the sleeve, it's the cup, it's the all of that. That's perceived value on my part. I have a t-shirt that used to belong to my stepmother who's passed away from lung cancer several years ago, right? You couldn't pay me enough for that t-shirt. Is the t-shirt worth that much? Probably not, right? Most people see me like, I'll give you no dollars for that, right? But you also couldn't give me $10,000 for it. I'm not going to give it to you. See what I'm saying? Money flows to where the perceived value is highest. So if you are finding yourself stuck financially in your business, it's because, hang on to your hats and glasses, it's because you do not perceive the value of what you offer. Oh, dang. Did I just say that? I totally did. You do not perceive the value of what you're offering. And or, I know there's always a caveat, asterisk, and or you're not communicating that value clearly. Now, did your ears just pop? You just went, oh, wait, that's me. Yeah, right? And that's where coaches, marketing classes, copywriting classes is where those come in. And it's so important. But for so many of you watching this video, the issue is actually that your perceived value of what you're offering isn't high enough. It's usually easier for people who have product-owned businesses to charge, right? Because it costs money for you to create the physical product that you're about to give out to people. That tends to be easier for most people because you can actually see the thing you're physically trading the money for. Make sense? And we can see that, we can feel that. And so we relax a little bit and go, oh, I can see the perceived value. It's in this thing I'm going to give you in exchange for money. Yeah. So those of us in service-based businesses, it can feel a little bit trickier. Like, but I can't see it. I can't, right? You can feel that. And so what you have to do is understand the perceived value going out must be high. And that starts with you. Now, what I was talking about earlier about Coffees with Coach and other Sarah Uncuts is I have my money goal, my financial goal for the business is up on a board that I look at every single day, all day long. I'm on the phone with clients, there's the number. I'm teaching classes, there's the number, right? I'm doing my work, I'm writing, I'm recording, there's the number, right? It's always there with me. And that's for clarity, which we've talked about in Sarah Uncuts before. See episode number 83. right? So we talk about clarity, the importance of clarity around these things. But what that does, and what I say to myself about that number, is that I'm already producing value at that level. Make sense? The value I put out there, I mean, look at all this free content we do, all the value we're putting out there that you guys, I hope you take and you use, right? All that value is already out there. So of course the money has to match that. But that starts with our perception inside the company, right? Like we've got to really get that that's the value we're putting out or it's not going to work, right? This can't be fake. This isn't phony. Like, I'm so special. I'm worth $1 million. No one's that special. So here's what I'd like you to do. If you have just realized one of two things. One, you either don't recognize the value of what you're offering, or two, you recognize the value, but you have not yet learned how to communicate. Here's the exercise for you. You ready to go? The first thing I want you to do is I want you to either collect, right? So physically gather things, or I want you to look at the amount that you've already created in your business, right? The amount that people have paid you for your services or products already. I want you to look at that. And then I want you to answer this question. How much value have I put out into the world already? Just guess. Just guess. When I talk about the value you're putting out in the world, how much joy have you brought other people? How much happiness have you brought other people? How much transformation have you brought other people? I want you to look at that and say, how much value have I put out into the world? Now, if you're already at the point where you're like, no, that's a really high number. Like my number's pretty high. Like that's a high number of what we're putting out in the world that's valuable to other people. Once you have that, I want to ask you a question, or rather I'm going to have you ask you a question. How can you make that even more amazing? Chances are you add more joy, you add more excitement. I want you to write down 5 people you could reach out to today to say thank you. Thank you for what you've provided to my life. If it's a client, customer, what you can say is, thank you so much for allowing me to do what I love the most. I so appreciate you. 5 people, you do that today, all right? And your ability to see your value will start to increase, because when you do things like that, when you figure out how to add more joy, right, or more excitement. But then also, when you reach out to other people to add value by thanking them for either participating with you or for providing something for you, what comes back is, oh my gosh, you do the same for me. Or you really helped me because you did X, Y, Z. And you need to see that sometimes. So now that you've got this going on, you've figured out how much you feel you've already put out there, right? You're figuring out how you can add even more joy and excitement for other people. You've got your list of 5 people you're going to reach out to. And now you're going to go and look at all the money you've made so far. And I want you to notice if there's a gap. So let's say so far you've made, I'm just making up numbers here. Let's say you've made $100,000. You've been in business for 2 years. And you're like, okay, so I've made $100,000. I think the value I'm putting out is actually $500,000. Oh, now you have a gap. You're welcome. So you want to work to close that gap by adding even more value so that you can bring more money in. Does that make sense? The last thing I want to tell you is if you do need to work on marketing or copywriting, I am not an affiliate of Marie Forleo's Copy Cure. It is one of the best courses out there. If she would let us be affiliates, I think it would go gangbusters. It's an amazing course. It's one of the best online courses I've ever taken. I would encourage you to go grab it. Like I said, I am not an affiliate. I do not get any money if you purchase that course, but it's freaking fantastic and you should go purchase that course. You can also do things like hire coaches like me. Yay me, right? We love to help you guys with this stuff. And there's actually marketing courses you can take out there that will help you hone this skill of communicating your value out. It's not natural. Let me just put that caveat in there. It's not natural for us to walk around going, hey, do you know what value I provide? High value, right? It's not natural for us to do that. I still struggle with it too. I've gotten much better at it, but we all need to learn how to do that, because sometimes people are just walking around their lives doing whatever, not recognizing, one, that there's even something out there that could change their lives or lift their moods, right? All the way over to people who are contemplating whether or not you're the best person for them to work with, and they haven't heard from you in a while, or they're not quite sure what your unique value is. If this is you, I want you to consider taking the Sales Mastermind. I run it once a year. It's a 6-month course. I open it up every year around Valentine's Day because I heart sales. You see how cute that is? I know, so cute. If you have not yet applied for the Sales Mastermind, the link is going to be below. If I do not have open enrollment right now, you can sign up to be on the wait list for the next round. Like I said, I only run it once a year, so keep your eyes and ears open for that. But this is what we do, you guys. This is our job as CEOs and founders, is to learn the skill of communicating your value out. All right? So the 4-step exercise I gave you today, that is the beginning of your internal work of starting to see your value and starting to understand how your value can support other people. But you must learn the skill of communicating that out so the money can come in the business, because if you don't learn how to do that, you have to shut your doors, and that's poopies. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anybody. So let's not do that. Yeah? Okay. So happy to hear it. Listen, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, I don't know what you're doing, because I go live sometimes and we do some really fun premieres and things. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are interested in the Sales Mastermind to learn the skill of communicating your value out, the link will be below this video. Like I said, if we're not in open enrollment, please sign up for the waitlist so you will be the first to know the next time I open the doors. I love you guys to bits. Get out there and make your difference and earn money while you do it. I'll see you guys in the next episode.